Shalom. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekha, Wadash. Yahweh is who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and there's no God beside him. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS, or Great Millstone for short, for being faithful witnesses to the Holy Spirit. Shalom to the elect, whom the Most High have given ears to hear. Real quick, this is going to be a reply to the elder brother Yashuamba's lesson. This is a serious accusation, and it comes by way of this chick. Saying hide your 9-year-old daughters from GMS men. Alright, so basically the accusation is that the men of Great Millstone great young girls, which that's not the case. Okay, what we do, alright, is we, as the men of the Lord of old did, alright, the men that you so-called praise and worship, you know what I'm saying, and give reverence to, they brought out the truth in which the Lord told them to. Alright, we bring out the truth of the Bible. That's all we do. And according to the scriptures, a damsel was given to a man, alright, in her younger years. Actually, a damsel, alright, is known as a young woman. You could look up, which we're going to get in a little bit, different variations of what, like when you see damsel in the scriptures, all right, it says a young lady. All right, girls that are in 6th grade and up, they call them what? Young ladies. Okay, and we were saying that in the ancient world, all right, this is what happened. They were ripe for marriage. All right, which marriage is sex according to the scriptures. All right. However, we're not saying that this is what we're doing. As a matter of fact, brothers have, young daughters and nieces and so on and so forth. This is not something we're doing. All right. They cannot pull up an allegation of men of Great Millstone doing this. However, they proceed to do, to slander. All right. But the scripture is saying, Wisdom of Solomon in the 1st chapter, that they're going to have to pay for that. There's no word so secret that the Lord shall not hear. Okay. And like the brother said, this is a very serious accusation. All right. As a matter of fact, you'll hear, stories like, I think I was watching a Meek Mill interview, and it was some to where some dude was trying to correct him or something. Well, he had went to jail, and in jail, they put you in, they might put you in a tail with gang members, rapists, and so on and so forth. And out of all the wicked dudes there, the lowest among the low is those there for rape. All right? A lot of times they might get beat up because you got dudes in there that can't even see their kids. You in there for touching little kids. All right? But this is not something we're doing. That's the detestable thing in this society. That's detestable, man. And this is not something that we're saying we're doing. Okay? However, in the ancient world, okay, when things were right side up, these are practices that were happening. And from time to time, as the elder Yashuamba was going into, a woman got took by force for whatever reason. Maybe the man couldn't pay, or, he was just, so wrapped up in his lust that he took it. And, in actuality, if the woman was married, he had to pay up. And if she wasn't, it's like if she was married already, she's already betrothed, all right, he would be put to death. But if she wasn't, he would have to pay, and that would be his wife. Okay. And as the elder Yashawamba was going into, is something today known as bride kidnapping, proving that this actually happened. Okay. There's laws in place to where if it actually happened, this is how you deal with it. Not that this was happening, just this is the set way that you would get a wife. No. But this is called bride kidnapping. This is also known as marriage by abduction or marriage by capture. Is a practice in which a man abducts the woman he wishes to marry. Then it goes down, it says a depiction of Vikings kidnapping a woman. Viking men would often kidnap foreign women for marriage or concubinage from lands that they pillage. Because this is what happened in the ancient world. Alright? The scriptures speak about Deuteronomy 21 and 10. When thou goest to war against thy enemies, and Yahweh thy power hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captives, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her that thou wouldest have her to thy wife, then thou shalt bring her home to thy house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that thou shalt go in unto her, and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. You see, so even the scriptures teach, how can I put it? The scriptures teach order. You give the woman a time to mourn, because she definitely gonna mourn. She just seen her parents, her fathers, and her brothers get put to death. But afterwards, what? You should go into her and make her your wife, or make her your concubine, if this was of another nation. Okay. So it says, Viking men often kidnap foreign women for marriage or concubinage from lands that they pillaged. All right, otherwise known as booties of war. Illustrated by French painter Évariste Vital Lumanes in 19th century. Benjamites seized wives from Shiloh in this 1863 woodcut by Julius Schnorr von Karlsfeld. There were not enough women available for marriage after the high losses in the Battle of Gibeah. Alright, so it was commanded that they go into the daughters of Shiloh, the Benjamite women, and when they come out to dance, whoever, you could grab up, you go on the tape. Okay? In the book of Judges, I want to say 21. This is bride kidnapping, hence the portmanteau bride napping, has been practiced around the world and throughout prehistory and history among peoples as diverse as the Hmong in Southeast Asia and the Sital in Mexico. Proving that, those Zebulonites, Issacharites over there are the tribes. Alright, those so-called Mexicans, which they said the Zetal are the Mayans in the land of Mexico. Alright, the Zetal are a Maya people of Mexico who chiefly reside in the highlands of Chiapas. Okay, proving that those are Israelites too. In the Romani in Europe, bride kidnapping still occurs in various parts of the world, but it is most common in the Caucasus and Central Asia. Alright, because the Bible is it's a book of Eastern standard. So if you come into it with a Western mindset, of course it's going to sound foreign to you. Okay? In most nations, bride kidnapping is considered a sex crime because of the implied implement of rape rather than a valid form of marriage. Some types of it may also be seen as falling along the continuum between the forced marriage and arranged marriage. Alright, like I was just going into, arranged marriage in the scriptures would be when the father, would betroth his daughter to another man's, son, whether it be and it was always for a reason. It might have been for, an ally, Because a man would just give his daughter to anybody. It would have to be a man of great substance, because he understood that that is for the betterment of his household. You know, as Scriptures speak about how a daughter is like a daughter is a possession. You know, and you're not going to give up a possession for something that's lesser value. No, you're going to give it up for something that's more value. Okay, because it's all about furthering the household. It says in most nations, bride kidnapping is considered salakia. The term is sometimes, some types of it may also be falling along the continuum between forced marriage and arranged marriage. Forced marriage, like I said, which we always bring out Deuteronomy 22, jump straight to the point. And 28, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife. Because he hath humbled her, he may not put her away all his days. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. Okay, so that would be considered forced marriage. And then arranged marriage, as we went into before. The term is sometimes confused with elopements, in which a couple runs away together and seeks the consent of their parents later. In some cases, the woman cooperates with or accedes to the kidnapping, typically in an effort to save face for herself or her parents. In many jurisdictions, it says, in many jurisdictions, this used to be encouraged by so-called marry a rapist laws. You know, which these are all, you know, whoever wrote this, you know, the wording, the ideology is correct. It's just the wording is effed up. It says even, I mean, it really is what it was, you know. Marry the dude that, you know, marry rapist laws. I guess you could say that. You know, even in countries where the practice is against the law, if judicial enforcement is weak, customary law may prevail. Bride kidnapping is often, but not always, a form of child marriage. You know, which says child marriage is a marriage or similar union, formal or informal, between a child under a certain age, typically age 18, and an adult of another child. Okay? And, you know, according to this article, which we know that's not the case, but the scriptures would be, this will be considered child marriage because it's under the age of 18, you know. But hey, the scriptures say, ascribe ye greatness to the Heavenly Father. So this is what the Lord had, you know, for us to learn and you know, please Him. This is what we follow. Obviously, like I said, not now, but this is how it's going to be in the kingdom. All right, in the time of complete righteousness, this is what the Lord ordains for things to be. Okay, so you know, according to what Jeremiah 31, Hebrews 8, in the kingdom, the Most High is going to restore unto us these words. All right, He's going to restore unto us perfection. All right, and a portion of perfection is to have these words written in our inward parts. So here it is, you know, you casting evil upon this, but the Lord is looking at this as a righteous thing. All right, He wrote these laws into existence for us to follow forever. Okay, so going into, if a man find a damsel, right, now we got to find out what's the age of a damsel. So let's go to Mark chapter 5. And hey, shalom to the apostle Ramlab. You know, he brought this precept out, and I was like, wow. So it says, Mark chapter 5, verse 39. And when he was come in, he saith unto them, Why make ye this ado and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn. But when he had put them all out, he taketh the father and the mother of the damsel, and them that were with him, and entered in where the damsel was lying. And he took the damsel by the hand, and said unto her, Talitha cumi, which is, being interpreted, Damsel, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years. And they were astonished with a great astonishment. So how old is a damsel? A damsel is 12 years old, which in this, like I said, would be considered a child. But we understand that she's a young lady. All right. As I mentioned before, when you go into other when you go into other versions of that same scripture, right? It says, however, if a man meets a girl who isn't engaged to be married, and he seizes her, rapes her, and is later found out, then the man who raped her must give 50 shekels of silver to the girl's father. You know, it says if, because these things happen sometimes. You know, and that's the thing. You know, Jake rather confusion. Here it is, the Lord is giving you aspects, you know, or answers on how to deal on all aspects, and you still scoff at that. New International Version. Suppose a man comes across a virgin who is not engaged. That's a good one, but let's see, ISB. Just trying to see what the different ones say. Damn. Perhaps a man may make a girl have sex with him. The girl has not had sex with anyone before, and someone discovers them. She has not yet promised to anyone. If that happens, the man must pay 50 shekels of silver to the father of the girl. That's a good one. And the man finds a lady, I don't know if I went into this one, who is a virgin, who is not pledged to be married, grabs her and lies with her, and they are found. Let's see what the Good News translation says. Deuteronomy 22. And 28. It says, suppose a man is caught raping a young woman who is not engaged. He is to pay her father the bride price of 50 pieces of silver, and she is to become his wife because he forced her to have intercourse with him. He can never divorce her as long as he lives. No man is to disgrace his father by having intercourse with any of his father's wives. So reading on, it may be connected to the practice of bride price, dowry, wealth paid by the groom and his family to the bride's parents, and the inability or unwillingness to pay it. Bride kidnapping is distinguished from raptio, and that the former refers to the abduction of one woman by one man and his friends and relatives, and is still a widespread practice, whereas the latter refers to the large-scale abduction of women by groups of men. Possibly in a time of war, raptio was assumed to be a historical practice, hence the Latin term, but the 21st century has seen a resurgence of war rape. Jumping down, it says, he also went into this. Rituals indicating, the elder brother Yashawamba, rituals indicating a symbolic bride kidnapping still exists in some cultures. As part of traditions surrounding a wedding, According to some sources, the honeymoon is a relic of marriage by capture based on the practice of the husband going into hiding with his wife to avoid reprisals from her relatives, with the intention that the woman will be pregnant by the end of the month. Now, I was going into the background where it says, though the motivations behind bride kidnapping vary by region, the cultures with traditions of marriage by abduction are generally patriarchal, Eastern, with a strong social stigma on sex or pregnancy outside of marriage and illegitimate births. Okay? That's why you had to pay up, because you just damaged your man's property, by taking, a man's daughter. Okay? In most cases, however, the men who resort to capturing a wife are often of lower social status because of poverty, disease, poor character, or criminality. They are sometimes deterred from legitimately seeking a wife because of the payment the woman's family expects, the bride price. Not to be confused with a dowry paid by the woman's family. You see, so that's pretty much on that, man. Like I said, and we always say that, this is written of in the scriptures, okay? And either you believe or you don't. The scriptures say, to the pure all things are pure, but to the undefiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, even their conscience. Right? Was that Titus? To the clean in heart all things are clean, but to those who are unclean and without faith nothing is clean. They are become unclean in mind and in thought. And they rather have it this way, because hey, this is what's to come. Like Yahushua said, those that will have the I should not reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. They say that they have knowledge of God, while their acts, they are turning their backs on him. Because the knowledge of God, Yahweh, is through Yahweh Shai. The knowledge of Yahweh Shai is through these scriptures. They are hated by all, hard-hearted, and judged to be without value for any good work. So that's pretty much it, man. This nail has been driven into the ground. But hey, like apostles always say, it's always somebody who didn't get the message. Or always a newcomer. So Lord willing, for you, the understanding was cleared up in this topic. So shalom to the elect.